Hey guys, I am just getting home from work and checking on things, and I wanted to take a second to share an interesting experience with you as far as propagating gooseberries go. So, in here, this is my winter bottom heat propagation table filled with various cuttings of different fruiting shrub species. And in particular, last night I just pulled out about 50 Yostaberry cuttings, and I had about a 95% success rate with them. And I'll show you those here in a second. But what I wanted to show you here in particular was gooseberry. Gooseberries have, at least what I've learned and what I've always been told, is that gooseberries, currants, super easy, bomb-proof, ridiculously easy to root. Now, yes, but it seems that I've been trying, this is my second year trying to grow gooseberries on a bottom heat system, just so I can have some plants available in the springtime. I'm still working out like my rhythm, and this year I'm doing a misting bed in the summer anyway. I think it's going to be a lot better. But I wanted to show you here, it seems that the gooseberries, they're not rooting, they're a lot slower to root, it seems, than the Yostaberries and the other currants. It seems that I started all these probably about 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago, and some of the Yostaberries that I pulled out had some really decent root systems. And feeling in here, some of these have started to root, but they're very small root systems. This is not good practice at all. But very small root systems. Make sure you can see that here. Yeah. So, on average with the Yostaberries, I was probably getting like 10 times on average the root development than I'm seeing with the gooseberries here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in. Now, it could be many different factors, due to many different factors, but including moisture level, and, well, I think it mostly has to do with moisture, actually. And the reason for that is I keep this, well, my temperature controller, it's actually a little low right now, but I keep this at 70, it's set for 70 degrees, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it's been above 55 degrees for months on end. And it just seems that the gooseberries are a lot slower to root for some reason than the currants and, well, especially the Yostaberries. Also, the stems seem to they seem to rot a lot easier. Now, yes, I should be using, if I really cared about the rotting, I should be using like a straight sand, coarse sand mix with no like actual soil in it, so basically like a sterile medium. But, you know, I tend to grow out my things, I tend to grow out these plants a little longer than I probably should in here. And I like the idea of having a little bit of nutrient value, but I think I'm going to have to start letting go of that idea. I think moving forward, if you're moving past just being a hobbyist propagator, and like what I'm working towards right now, I'm this year I'm trying to grow a whole lot of plants, and so it's time to step up, I think, in the kind of just be real about what I've been doing. You know, this is probably the 4th year I've done things, and every year I've always had the same problem of having cuttings rotting. And last year the gooseberries did the same thing they're doing now, where they're starting to rot, they're slow to root. I should have just done straight sand in here in perlite or whatever, but I'm a very stubborn person. But the Yostaberries do fine, and so like maybe what that tells me is that perhaps I would lean into doing summer propagation of gooseberries in my new misting bed that I set up. I will be making a video on that soon, and just doing currants in here. These are red currants. Again, very bad practice to dig this up. But let's see. Oh, I may have broken the roots off of this guy. I'm not going to dig up any more to try to show you, but I'm just going to let these go and wait till I see there is some new growth on this guy. It's rooted in. This little elderberry cutting, that's rooted in. Okay. Let me show you the gooseberries. So, excuse the mess here. I'm still kind of trying to work this out, but these are all purple tree collard and perennial kale cuttings, but these are all the gooseberries that I am just kind of, for the interim, planting these out here, letting them size up a little bit, and then I'll pop them up later. But all these I pulled out from that bed, and you can see they responded. They did so much better than the gooseberries. Again, so that's on bottom heat for probably 2.5 months, set at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A mixture of mostly sand and perlite with probably like a 1:1 to 1/4 ratio of perlite, sand, and soil ratios there for what I've been using. And so if a way to improve this system, I think, is just to go with straight coarse sand or straight perlite, but something that's well draining and doesn't have organics in it. That it just seems like that just leads to stems rotting a lot faster, having life in the soil, which is all super counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do, like my ethos, like my like it kind of goes, it really goes against like what I stand for, like the ethics of what I'm trying to do. Like I don't like the idea of using a sterile medium. But I might do a test. I might do a small tester next year of just straight coarse sand, and just see if it's that much better. Then, I mean, if you're trying to make a livelihood out of propagating plants, I mean, you want to be successful, and you have to make compromises, I suppose, on some of this, like, and just stick to your guns on some other things, like no rooting hormone, no chemical fertilizers, and numerous other things, minimizing plastic use on the landscape as much as possible. Anyway, this is going on a little too long. I just wanted to share some notes with you about the bottom heat system as we're moving into spring. Everything's starting to warm up. I'm eyeing everything, just waiting for the time for me to be able to clear out my heated propagation table for putting other things in there, or retiring it for the season, and focusing on the misting bed and whatever else I'm going to stick in here. We'll see.